Hello, my name is Merton, and this is my Money Island and Vault reflection video. So the Money Island program is a program for students to learn about money and how to really keep track of it and not go bankrupt and not lose all of their money. I think more students across, like, I think more students should learn in class. I think students in general should learn in class because it really teaches them about, like, the ways they possibly could lose the money and the ways not to lose their money. And, for example, like, if there's, like, it teaches them about taxes and stuff like that. It also teaches them, like, for, like, credit cards. You have to always, like, not spend too much. Like, for example, if you know you can't afford something, you probably shouldn't buy it until you can save up for it or whatever, and purchase it with a credit card. Or purchase with a debit card or credit card. If you think you're gonna have the money, like if you have steady loot, then you probably will be able to buy with a credit card. So the Vault program is a different program than Money Island. It's not exactly like Money Island. It teaches you more about money, other than, like, real life situations of money. There's no really, like, taxes that you need to pay. You don't really have to pay for things, but you have to, like, make sure other characters in the game, like make sure they know how to make sure they save their money and don't just, like, spend it on whatever they want. And it just teaches us most about money. It doesn't really it quizzes us at the start and at the end, and that's how it knows what we've learned and what we haven't. So I think students should learn in class because it's a pretty good program, especially for people like 4th grade, I'd say, maybe 5th grade. For people or for students that are just starting to learn about money, and yeah. The most important things I've learned from each game is that in the Vault, I've learned a lot about, like, saving my, making sure, or for example, like, I put my money in a bank account, I'll earn, that's like an investment. They put your money in a bank account, like, that you have, instead of just saving it, like, in a closet or whatever. And, for example, from Money Island, I've learned, like, taxes. You always have to make sure you have enough money for those taxes that you're gonna pay, and taxes are you have to pay for taxes when you have, like, property taxes, like sales tax and whatever. And it teach me, like, for example, if I buy investments, like a business or, like, an apartment building, like, for rent, like somebody can rent it, then I learned, like, that you can make steady money from that, and that's how you make all your steady loot. And you can always, like, the scale also up and down. So I planned, and so for example in Vault, there's no really, like, tilt the scales. There's nothing for a whole game that you have really. That's, like, one thing specifically. But in Money Island, I tilted the scales by, for example, whenever I would. So I buy investments. That's how I made most of my money. I bought investments, business investments, and I also bought, for example, apartment buildings, and I'm still working on that sometimes. And it's really awesome to get those investments done. But you have to tell them slowly and make sure you don't spend all your money. Another way of telling the scales is by putting some of your money into your bank account, of your savings account. So my current strategy is by going first with investments of business. I first started investing in businesses, and then I also kind of invested in gems, or not gems. I think it was like the market or stocks. Sorry, stocks, and I mean it was okay. I don't really invest in stocks much because I kind of forget to sell it, and yeah. I also have put a lot of money into the bank account, into my savings account slowly, not all of it at once. And then at the end, as I got towards the end of the game, after like I became a guru and I've won the game, or yeah, I started buying more apartment buildings and other things like that. So I think money involved will make me a stronger person by this. So, for example, when I get older, like right now, I didn't know so many things could happen in your life, and this really teaches you about your life, both games. And for example, if I'm going out with friends, I don't want to spend like all the money that I got with friends. I'd save some for myself, and it's also good to give to other causes. It also teaches me that don't always use credit cards for everything. It's always good to use like from your actual account just to make sure you don't spend all your money on something that you probably can't afford. Yeah, like for example, I probably this like for Money Island, it'll really teach me to invest in things that I know will probably most likely make me money, and yeah. So the hard thing during these games was making sure, like tilting the scales. That's probably the hardest thing of the game. Tilting the scales was really hard because when you invest in businesses, those businesses go up and down, and you don't always get like 100%. As except like in an apartment building, you practically almost get 100% always because it's when people buy. In businesses, they go up and down. So with stocks, they also go up and down. So there was also the hard thing is that like stocks, I was looking into that, but I didn't really. The other hard part was it spending your money wisely, because it's just really want to buy this, you want to buy that from the mall or whatever. You want to buy this type of furniture, but it costs a lot of money for that kind of that. There's also games that you have to keep up your happy points, and that was actually not the easiest thing for me. I need to keep up my happy points, and I had to play games, and that meant spending money on those games. So I always have to be like. So to also get those happy points, I donated to charity. So I did this. I got a paycheck. I used some of my money on donating to charity. I paid my taxes, put some in my bank account, in my savings account, and that's how I did it. So any future. So the tips that I have to other students that want to be financially responsible in life is that you should always make sure to balance everything: investments, saves, or saving, spending, and donating. So the big thing is spending. If you don't spend a lot, that probably means that you might not be the best. But it's always, you have to make sure you're always going to spend more than what you're going to invest in or what you're going to save. But the tip that I have is make sure to not spend all your money on spending, balance everything out, and not just spend everything on one. Like put all your money into a savings account. I know that'll earn you a lot of steady loot if you have, but it's not the best because if you get some kind of secret fee, or not really secret fee, but you have to pay taxes. You have to pay them with your actual money from your checkings. You also have to pay, like sometimes there's a little red box that pops up sometimes when you get out of your house, and it says like you crashed into like another car. You have to pay for insurance, and then you have to pay for that. Your like boiler went out. You have to pay for another one, and sometimes those fees just come up out of nowhere, and you have to pay for those. And in Vault, make sure the characters in the game do not like spend too much money. You should always care about other friends, but you should always care about other people. So that's why charity's there. So yeah, that was my video on my money allergy reflection. Thank you.